Hello guys, welcome back to another video. I am going to be predicting and breaking down a future matchup for Colby Covington. It's pretty unsure right now who he's going to fight. I guess we just now know that he will fight at some point, maybe this year or maybe at the beginning of the year, because Dana White just confirmed that he is looking for a fight. He wants a fight and that they're going to make plans for him soon. So this is who I think Colby Covington will face. I'm going to break down every possible matchup he can have, and we'll go from there. So yeah, let's go on. These are all the people that I think he could fight. We have Khamzat, Jeff Neal, Gilbert Burns, Bilal Muhammad with Sean Brady, because that's a interesting matchup, and then Usman. He still has the title on his thing because that's the most recent picture he has, and Leon Edwards. So yeah, let's get through it. First matchup I have on here, Colby Covington versus Jeff Neal. I don't mind this matchup for Colby Covington at all, but I don't think Colby will take it at all. Jeff Neal is number 6. It doesn't really make sense for Colby. It's not a big enough name to where, like, if he gets a win, like, maybe you can give him the title shot, or because I think that's what he wants. That's what Chael says he wants. He says he wants a title shot. He wants to win a fight and then go back in there. So I don't think Jeff Neal would be the guy he might face. Who knows? I think matchup-wise, he does have a pretty solid chance against Jeff Neal. Could grapple him and push the pace a little bit more. But I don't think this matchup will happen. Jeff Neal, I believe, recently called out Colby Covington, but I do not think this matchup will happen. So let's move on to the next slide. We have Colby Covington versus Kamaru Usman. Obviously, I think Kamaru Usman is going to get the rematch whenever he comes back. I think that'll probably be like 6 months down the road, sadly. So we'll have a pretty inactive welterweight division for a while until Kamaru Usman does get that title rematch. I'm hoping that the winner of Khamzat versus Nate Diaz gets the title shot, which is really Khamzat. He's the only one probably getting a title shot there. I don't see Nate Diaz actually staying. But Khamzat Chimaev should be the number 1 contender. Just fight Leon real quick, and then the winner of that faces Kamaru Usman. But I guess that might not be what happens. I think Leon Edwards wants to fight in London. I don't know where it'll be at, but in England with the title. So I think that's probably in around March is when they normally have those events. So I think that's when you'll see that fight, probably Kamaru Usman versus Leon Edwards for that event. I don't think they'll do anything sooner than that with Khamzat Chimaev and Leon Edwards, because I think they want that card in England, and I think Khamzat Chimaev will probably beat Leon Edwards, and they can't have that if they want to go to England. So I think Kamaru Usman will fight for the title in his next fight. Leon Edwards, obviously the champion. I think Colby needs another win. He beat Jorge Masvidal in March of last year. I don't think that's enough to get another title shot, so I think he'll need to fight another person. I think it's pretty obvious he needs to fight another person. Obviously, Chael's leaving on the table. I'm mentioning Chael because he's basically the spokesperson for Colby Covington. So I don't think this will happen. He mentioned it a little bit, but he wants a specific fight. So even Leon Edwards told Masvidal he needs a fight, even though Masvidal's on like a 3-fight skid. Leon Edwards will be backed up. He got multiple contenders that can fight him soon. So this is what I'm picking. Not necessarily picking, but predicting will happen. He's not going to fight for the title. There's no way. Colby Covington versus the winner of Bilal Muhammad versus Sean Brady. I think this could happen. To find an actual number 1 contender here, like you'll have the Khamzat Chimaev fight, and then you'll have this fight to see who's the number 1 contender. Realistically, if Sean Brady wins, Colby Covington versus Sean Brady makes sense. If Bilal Muhammad wins, Colby Covington versus Bilal Muhammad makes sense too. Get the actual number 1 contender that you want. Bilal Muhammad, if he wins, will probably be ranked pretty high. Sean Brady will probably move up a little bit if he beats Bilal Muhammad. So this is why the fight's pretty important. I think Sean Brady might have a pretty solid chance in this one. They're kind of similar, but I think Sean Brady does have better stand-up than Bilal Muhammad. But it's a pretty close fight. We'll see. I'm not too certain on Sean Brady's cardio. He says it's really good. He said it's because the reason why he gassed out in his last fight was because he had blood in his mouth. But we'll see in this matchup. I think his cardio's all right, but I think just these bigger guys with the pace like Colby Covington, I think it's going to be a hard time. They obviously punch relatively hard, especially Bilal Muhammad, but I don't think the technique's there. Like, even Bilal Muhammad's chin isn't crazy. I'm not saying Colby's going to knock him out, but I don't mind this matchup for Colby Covington. A harder matchup would probably be Bilal Muhammad. Even Sean Brady. Sean Brady's a really strong dude, but I don't know if this fight will necessarily happen. I don't know if this is the fight he wants, but we'll see. I think he might, if he fights who I think he will be, I think he might need to fight someone who wins this fight. So either Sean Brady or Bilal Muhammad, if he beats the other guy that I think he will fight. But yeah, we'll let you know more when we get there. Colby Covington versus Khamzat Chimaev. This could definitely happen. I could definitely see it, especially if we're waiting for Leon Edwards versus Kamaru Usman. Makes sense if Colby Covington wants the title shot after this fight Khamzat Chimaev, you win. You definitely get that number one title shot. I think everybody's thinking Khamzat Chimaev's like the dude in that division. He's like, we're kind of just waiting for him to get the title at this point. I think he beats Kamaru Usman and he beats Leon Edwards relatively easy. For this fight, this is a very tough matchup for Colby, so I would understand, like, I think even Dana would agree that he would probably get the number one title shot if he beats Khamzat Chimaev. But this is a very, very tough matchup for him. Colby obviously doesn't have the best striking. He doesn't have the best technique. Was piecing out Kamaru Usman and Masvidal. He outstruck Masvidal on the feet. He kind of outstruck Kamaru Usman in the last 3 rounds, damaged him more. Probably won those last three rounds too. But I think it's going to be a really tough matchup with Khamzat. Khamzat's got pretty good power, pretty solid shot selection. Doesn't really move his head much, but I don't know if Colby would actually, be able to hit him and then be able to take the same punches that Khamzat's throwing back at him. The grappling, I don't know if Colby will be able to take Khamzat down. It would be pretty interesting to see. Khamzat's very explosive, very, very strong. He's a very heavy dude for the division, even though it doesn't really look like it. But this is a very tough matchup for Colby. I think if it goes past maybe 2 or 3 rounds, probably 3 rounds, and he makes it past the 3 rounds, he's doing pretty well. He's able to steal the 3rd round. I think he'll probably win. Anything past like the 3rd round, I think, is Colby's fight. But extremely tough matchup for him. I definitely get it if they do this matchup because it makes quite a bit of sense now that I'm thinking about it. Because you'll have, if Khamzat wins against Nate Diaz, he'll basically be sitting out for the next like 6 or 7 months, even probably like 9 months, because realistically, Kamaru Usman will probably take like 6 months off to recover and get into his next fight with Leon Edwards. So say it's in March. We're now almost the start of September. After Khamzat's fight, you'll probably have to wait October, November, December, January, February, March. So that's 6 months from when he fights. And then after that, Leon Edwards or Kamaru Usman will probably need 3 months or 4 months after that. So he'll be waiting for 10 months, 9 months on the sideline waiting for his fight. So I think this fight makes a lot of sense in the meantime. Maybe like Khamzat, if he kind of destroys Nate, you can do this like relatively quickly. Maybe put on the December card for Jones Miocic. I'm not sure what it is, but this fight kind of makes sense now that I think about it. But we'll see if it happens. I initially thought this next fight is what I think he actually wants, but Khamzat fight makes a lot of sense. The fight against Gilbert Burns. Chael even mentioned it. He said he wants Gilbert Burns. He said he wants to fight Gilbert Burns, but Gilbert Burns wants to fight Jorge Masvidal, which is very interesting. I'm surprised Masvidal doesn't want to take the fight. I actually think he has a pretty solid chance in the fight. I think I predicted that a while ago. But Colby Covington versus Gilbert Burns should relatively be the fight to make, but I think the issue with this one is Colby's going to be sitting in a line if he beats Gilbert Burns because he thinks he gets the number one title shot. I don't know if that's the case. I think realistically it'll go Kamaru, obviously, then Khamzat Chimaev, and then realistically, like, the winner of Bilal Muhammad and Sean Brady should get it, or not necessarily Sean Brady, but Bilal Muhammad should get it if he wins. But if Colby wins against Gilbert Burns, and then he says he's the number one title shot, who's Dana gonna pick? Like, there's a bigger matchup between the two. I think it'll obviously be Colby Covington, unless he wants Colby to fight the winner of that fight, which makes sense. Like, 3-fight win streak, you can get back at the title. 2 close matchups with Kamaru Usman, haven't fought Leon Edwards before. I think Colby actually has a good chance, a solid chance against Leon Edwards. I don't mind it. Even Gilbert Burns is really tough on the feet, really strong, really powerful, has really good jiu-jitsu on his back, has some pretty solid grappling as well. But I think Colby pushes a pace on him. I think you can see probably Gilbert Burns winning the first couple rounds, but I think we'll see Colby Covington start to gas out Gilbert Burns, similar to RDA fight, but I don't think RDA really got gassed till like the last round. Not necessarily even gassed, but maybe more weared out with the pace. I think we could probably see the same here. I think Colby's just gonna mentally screw like Gilbert Burns. Yeah, that's what I got here. I guess I kind of like reached a wall in my brain right now, but for this fight, yeah, I can definitely see that's the tough part with this matchup is you don't know where it's gonna go from here. Like if Colby beats Gilbert, like I said, like I don't like there's a line for the welterweight division right now. You don't even if Leon Edwards loses to Kamaru Usman, are they gonna do the third fight? Like, you know what I mean? It'll be very tough to see what happens there. Very confusing division. It was very slow for a while. Now we got all these contenders ready. And yeah, we're waiting in a line. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Predictions will be out tomorrow or on Sunday, depending on when this video drops. But I do think Colby versus Gilbert Burns will likely happen. I don't know if Masvidal takes the Burns fight, even though he should, without a doubt. But it doesn't sound like Masvidal wants to fight him. Who will Masvidal fight? I have no idea. He needs a win before he even tries to get at Leon Edwards. Maybe Jeff Neal. That would probably be a fun fight. I don't know. I don't know a good matchup for Masvidal. I think he should take the Burns fight. And if he takes the Burns fight, Colby should be looking at Khamzat Chimaev or the winner of Bilal Muhammad versus Sean Brady. But I think Khamzat Chimaev makes a lot of sense. He definitely earns his number one title shot. I think if he beats Khamzat Chimaev, I think he's number one in line, but obviously behind Kamaru Usman. So there's a lot of options here. I think Chael said he wants Gilbert Burns. He said Gilbert Burns makes a lot of sense. Masvidal, they have a matchup for Masvidal and Gilbert Burns for December. I don't even know if he's going to take that, obviously, like I said, probably a couple times at this point. But I don't know if he takes that fight. So we'll see. It depends on if that fight falls out, if this fight happens. Because Gilbert Burns is already scheduled for December. I can see Colby fighting in December. That's what, like 10, 12 weeks from now. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.